Hey YouTube, today I'm with the NASA Discovery Shuttle and the Hubble Telescope, as today we're going to be taking a closer look at this set. Hey guys, and welcome to Brick Talk TV. Terry here. And in today's episode, we're checking out the LEGO Creator NASA Space Shuttle Discovery set. This set was released in April 2021 under set number 10283 and consists of 2,354 pieces spread over 17 bags inside the box. This set currently retails for £169.99 in the UK, and this set also includes a Hubble Telescope as part of the build experience. And that is where you actually start your build experience in this set. The first 3 bags consisting of all the parts you need to build the Hubble Space Telescope. Inside bag 4 it actually unusually contains the stand for the shuttle. In previous sets I've built, the stands are usually the things you build last. For example, the stands found in the Batwing or the Batmobile build that I've done recently. Then making up the remainder of the bags is the shuttle build itself. So let's flip over now and take a closer look at the actual set. So here's the actual set in its entirety here, and you can actually see the large scale here that's going on with the space shuttle on this side and the Hubble Telescope on this side. And what I'm going to do first is walk through the Hubble Telescope in a bit more detail, and then we'll come back to the space shuttle. So let me just put this over to the side for a second. So here's the actual Hubble Telescope then in all its glory. It's sitting on its stand, which just plugs in here. So you do start building this stand up fairly early on, and there's just simply a couple of pins here that connect onto the bottom parts here just to make it stand up at a slight angle, so you can see that. Of course, the main attraction here probably is the number of metallic pieces you've got, because this particular item is covered in these silver metallic pieces. There is a kind of a moulding piece, or should I say a moulding mark on all of these. It kind of looks like a little scratch, but it's consistent across all of the different tiles, and I've seen quite a few people comment on this in the community. It's a nice little build. You're building the core up in the middle. You've got these nice solar panels here, which are made up of a kind of a quite a rubbery, textury kind of thing. They're not stickers and they're not tiles. They're actually just made up of in the sticker sheet that you get. It's kind of like a foil here that you just plug into position with some golden flowers to give them a look, and you can articulate these in different angles up and down, and they've got a little clipping mechanism here that you can change the angle. So I suppose when you're displaying it, you kind of want them to look uniform, and they're a little bit probably folded up a little bit here. But you've got a really nice look to this. On the front, you've got this little hatch here, which you can lift up. And of course that exposes the telescope in there. So you've got a transparent piece in there to create this sort of lens effect going on. Or you can close that if you want to protect it from the sun. Got these little details on the side here, and of course piping across here. And then on the back, you've got this notion, it looks to me like a big hatch that you could open up and go inside if you wanted to. So there's not much more to this set than probably, or this particular part of the set than that. And as I said, this is your first entry into the set. So you start building this up from the get-go. And it positions, clips onto here quite nicely. And then you can position it however you see fit on your desired shelf. And it goes at an angle like that. So that's quite a nice introduction and gets you into that space feel before you start actually building the shuttle itself. So let's flip over and take a closer look at the shuttle. So here's the actual shuttle itself, and you can see there is a really huge scale here. And I did read some comments from the designer originally that they were contemplating doing the fuel tank and the solid fuel boosters, but the scale of it would have been too big. So they've settled on just doing the shuttle itself. There are a lot of printed tiles here, and bricks, so where you see these sort of prints on the wing and on the some of the side where it says United States. Those are actually printed bricks and tiles. There are a few stickers though, you can't escape them fully. So the word Discovery and the NASA on this sort of loading bay here is also a sticker that you have to stick on. And there's various other stickers throughout the set as well. Again, it's quite an impressive set. There's various different elements of this that come together. You can lift off the cockpit here, or the module, and inside here there are some scaled views of some seats that astronauts could sit in when they're flying the shuttle and actually in there for takeoff. So there's 4 seats in there, usually about 5 people I think they have in the space shuttle. I might be wrong, it might be 6. But there's also another lower level in here where there's another seat ready for an astronaut to sit in, and there are various little compartments to indicate some computers going on, an airlock to get into the main loading bay area, some little beds that they have in here. Just it's really depicted well, obviously not to microfigure scale, but to a micro scale. And that just slots in there and stays firmly in place. There is a unique printed piece here, which is the front windscreen, which is unique, I believe, to this set and is new. And you've got some stickers that stick on top here just to show some other windows that astronauts could use to look out of. The front detail, again, the nose cone really builds up well. They've made really good use here of trying to get this curved and cone nose look going on. You've got these front areas here, which would be used for some thrusters, I believe, to line it up. And then it really goes back into this main area here. And this is where the loading bay is actually situated. So I think these are also unique pieces that they made for this set. They've scaled up previous similar looking pieces or elements, and these doors open quite nicely. You just put them open like this. And then I think a lot in the community had a bit of a bugbear with these stickers situated here, because these are, as I said, already stickers that you have to position. And so trying to line them up consistently is a bit of a nightmare. And I did end up with a couple of air bubbles, I must admit, where I've not quite pushed it down quick enough or laid it properly. But overall, I think as long as my technique was actually to make sure you lined them up on this edge, and then they generally sort of lined up pretty well on the inside bit here. A lot of people, I think, started to line them up from this end and didn't do very well. But if you get a consistent edge on this side, that's probably the best. These are obviously then used as solar panels. So when the shuttle is in orbit, these open up and it helps power the shuttle itself, I believe. And then there's detail inside the actual loading bay itself. You've got this arm here, which is the Canadian arm, which is used by the space shuttle and unhinges here, which can be taken out to position various elements in space, which they would use for the satellite. And actually there is a configuration you can use to position the Space Hubble Telescope on this arm. And it's used inside. And then these doors shut quite nicely tight like this. And they have a really good connection here, so there's no gaps here at all. So that's a really nice part of the build. And again, these shapes I think are unique to this particular set, having scaled up from a previous version that they used. Then moving through to the back, you've actually got this nice tail fin sticking up here, and it does actually have air brakes. So these flaps here do spread out like this, and they articulate in various different ways. And this would be like an air brake for when the shuttle is coming into land, just to slow it down, and that expands there. So that's a nice touch on the tail fin, just to give it a little bit more detail and a little bit more playability there as well. Then if I flip this round and we look at the back, and you see these sort of standard engines, you've got the main 3 thrusters here, which would be helping for the rocket to take off and to move through the atmosphere. And then there's extra boosters here, which are used in the later part of the flight, I think, to maneuver the shuttle through the atmosphere to come back down and descend into orbit. And these, again, typical kind of barrel shapes, like bathtubs, that are used in this colour, which is quite common, I think, in any sort of space rocket you've got. You do have the added feature of a mechanism in here. So if you rotate this middle thruster on top or rocket engine, you can see that the flaps will alternate, which would help, obviously, the shuttle to steer as it tries to land. There's not too much ability, I don't think, to steer in the shuttle when it comes into land, but you've just got these flaps here just to help it on its way, to make sure it maintains its direction with crosswinds and things like that. Also at the bottom, you've got this flap, which can be extended down, which again would help slow the rocket down when it's moving through, coming into land. And there is a mechanism when you push this in that the wheels actually drop down. So throughout the build, as you build it up, the wheels on the bottom here, which I can show you, can actually be pushed away. So you can pop these in. And then if I'm to push the bottom flap in like so, then they extend automatically down like that. So you can reenact the landing mechanism. And as it comes down, it lands on some rubber tiles, which are nice and smooth, and it gives you a nice motion if you move it across the surface. That also helps you position it. If you've got it on shelves, you need to move it about a little bit, that the wheels are quite handy with that regard as well. And of course on the bottom, would be where the heat shield is. So when it comes back through re-entry through the atmosphere, this would take all the heat as it comes in. It kind of comes in at an angle, I believe, to take all of that. And I think in later accidents, I think the Columbia one, there was a damaged tile here which caused it to explode on re-entry. And that's where most of the heat would be taken in. So that's the kind of main space shuttle itself. You do, of course, build a stand as well. So you can use this stand here, and you can position the shuttle on this if you don't want it to be displayed like this. You can display it at an angle. So you have an option there if you wanted to display it in some sort of motion on the shelf as well. So let me just get all the other bits back in, then we'll just summarise quickly. So overall, I did enjoy this build. LEGO have certainly re-sparked my interest in space, which has probably been dormant since I was last at school. And the announcement of this set did actually lead me to watch the Netflix series The Challenger, The Final Flight documentary, which helped me understand some of the basics of the shuttle features as I built it, which also kind of helped me bring the set to life as well, which was also increasing the engagement level as I was building through. And I know that a lot of people probably would have liked this to have been based around the Challenger model, but given the sensitivity around that shuttle, I think probably I'm happy that it was a Discovery in the end, and that helped me also learn so much more about the shuttle itself. Of course, I would have loved to have had the fuel tank and the boosters included in this model, but I imagine that the scale of this would have been unfeasible and it probably would have been far too large to display on the shelf. But it has led me now to recently look up a mock on Rebrickable, and I'll show you a picture now so you can see the designer's design of it, and I'll be building that in the future and be doing a review of that as well, so I actually get a whole full shuttle. And I believe that the stickers in there do allow you to actually label it up as Challenger, so I think I'll probably be labeling that rocket as the Challenger in the future as well. So to make sure that you get notified of that, do hit that subscribe button, and once this video drops you'll be able to see what the end result of that build looks like too. So with this set, there are some really nice features as I've already gone through. You've got the cockpit, the payload bay, and the steering mechanism, which is operated by the rear engine. And you've also, of course, got the undercarriage, which pops down for any nice landings that you want to do. So that's a nice, good experience, and does offer a level of interactivity with this model, so it's not just a display piece as well. The addition of the Hubble Space Telescope and also the ability to attach it to this set so that the set does come together as one is also a really nice feature, and probably one I'll be experimenting with in the future depending on any space that I've got on my shelves. So if you're a fan of space and that you've bought other space sets such as Saturn V or the International Space Station, then I think that this set will undoubtedly complement and also improve your display on your shelves as well. So I'd thoroughly recommend it for that. The telescope was a real highlight for me, and I think that really has piqued my interest in actually exploring the space station in the future. So keep an eye out for that, and maybe I'll be building that and adding that over Bricktown in the future as well. Let me know if you've built any other space sets. I'll be interested to have a look to see what other ones are good builds, and that will help me inform future videos we do. And if you found this video helpful, do hit that like button, as it helps the channel grow and helps me create more content for you to review. And also hit that subscribe button with the bell notification turned on to be notified around that space video where we'll be looking at the mock space shuttle in the future. And until next time, stay safe and I'll see you then.